the first season of the Sunday SITREP. It's not just a tournament, it's a brotherhood.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the 23rd episode of the Sunday SITREP. And we don't really have much planned to talk about. We're just going to go off a whim and let's talk some fishing. Let's talk about the Elite Series on Okeechobee this week. And we got a special guest we haven't had on in a while, and we're not going to disclose it yet. We're going to bring him in as a little bit of a surprise. And he's probably, I can't see where he's doing right now, but he's probably making weird faces at me in the background right now. Yeah.
Bring him on.
But yeah. So let's go over Georgia. We'll dive into that here in a second, real quick. Georgia's results. I don't have them up. I'm super underprepared and behind tonight. I'm sorry, guys.
The top three.
Oh, you got them?
Yeah.
Boom. Let's hear about. So we just had an event on Georgia and Lake Hartwell this weekend. Let us know how it went, Nick. Since you got.
Yeah, I was talking to Phil. He said it was pretty calm in the morning, and then by the afternoon there was like 30-mile-an-hour winds, I guess.
My goodness. Yeah, Saturday was pretty gnarly here. Like there's fires all over South Carolina right now because of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Stephen Earwood and Shane Richardson took first place with 15 pounds 1 ounce. Dan Gearston, Brandon Truly, 14 pounds and 1 ounce, and Dale Harbor and Frank Harbor came in third with 13 pounds and 7 ounces. They had 11 boats total.
Perfect.
On that tournament too. Yeah, so just over 15 pounds took it.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
That's pretty good there, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean it depends. I mean, Hartwell has got the capability of 20 plus pound bags, but 15 pounds on a high wind, busy day like that isn't bad at all.
What are they doing right now down there? They pre-spawn, kind of getting ready
depends
to spawn?
on. I haven't been up on Hartwell. I don't know what they're doing there. They're probably a little behind, but here our weather's been. We've had a lot of real cold, and then warm, and then real cold, and then kind of just had a warm snap this week, and then today was cold again in the 40s and 50s where I'm at. So kind of all over the place, really. You got fish kind of scattered doing whatever. You got some I think that I want to, and then you got some still sitting out there in the deep stuff. Aren't even thinking about coming up yet. But we'll see how it goes. But welcome everybody. It sounds like they had a pretty good event out there. 11 boats. That's the most he's had so far in Georgia, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Well, good. I'm glad they had a successful event. It's cool to see. I've got a South Carolina team on there, a couple of them. Nathan Tyson, Dan Gertson. I haven't looked at the full list to see. Excuse me, it was Clark's Hill, not Hartwell. That's my fault. I said Hartwell. It is Clark's Hill. I had a couple of teams go down there and fish that event that normally fish up here in South Carolina, though. So thank y'all for going down there and supporting Georgia. And I think some of those guys are planning on fishing both, the Savannah River chain and here in South Carolina. So pretty cool. I like that. I like that we're already getting, cross communication between the states.
Yeah, it's all.
Yeah, I'm digging it. My thing is all messed up here. I'm trying to get squared away. I don't know what happened. It kind of changed up the format of the website here. Anyways, so yeah, good event on Georgia, and we got a bunch coming up in March. We have an event every weekend in March, folks. So if you're down here in the South, you have no excuses to not be in an event. Next weekend, on 8 March here in South Carolina, we're having our second derby out of Monticello. Definitely looking forward to that. Hoping to see.
I want to see 5-pound smallmouth. Okay.
I'm not going to guarantee 5-pound smallmouth, but there's a good chance of a 5-pound smallmouth. Not multiples. I don't think there's a good chance for multiples. I don't think we're there yet. If the lake keeps growing the way it is, like the fish, I mean, it seems like every year, past few years, the smallies are getting bigger and bigger and consistently bigger. And more of them. Like the quantity of the bigger ones is getting there. I still can't get over an almost 7-pounder this year. Is wild.
If there's a 7-pounder that was caught out of there, there's plenty of 4s and 5s.
There's some big ones.
Yeah.
Right. For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, if they threw some gobies in that lake, it would probably get ridiculous quick. And I'm here for it, dude. I don't know what kind of ecosystem gobies need to survive, if they would survive in that lake, but it's super deep and whatnot. But I mean, there's depth
They
to.
seem to adapt to anything. I mean, they came over from China on cargo ships.
It's turned into vitamin G for the smallmouths.
Yeah.
Growth hormone. But yeah, so I'm excited for that one. I think Monticello is going to be fun for sure.
Yeah.
And the following weekend, 15 March, on Baden Lake in North Carolina. They're having that one out there. I don't know much about that lake at all, but John was telling us that's a pretty good lake. Sorry, Jared, I did not see that. Or I did. Hold on, let me see. I'll get back to you, Jared. I want to actually link up with you after tonight, so keep your phone on when we get off here. I need to talk to you. But no, he's not in trouble. No. I just ain't talked to him a minute. We need to catch up. But John was telling us some solid things about Baden Lake. I'm looking to see some big bags out of there. 15 March is a good time of year this time of year, as long as we don't have in North Carolina, South Carolina. If everything goes right, weather-wise, that could turn out to be a pretty big show out of fish, at least big bags, hopefully. And then 22 March, the weekend after that, we have in Virginia, Lake Chesden, which Dave, I think that's the one that Dave said his favorite lake up there, right?
Yeah.
He really likes that one. Talked about having some big bags, and up there, the 22 March should be starting to get. They might still be in because that's Northern Virginia, so they might still be in a pre-spawn status up there, depending on the weather. So potential for some real fat girls up there to come in.
Yeah.
We'll see. It'll be cool. See some big bags in Virginia. That's their first derby. So I'm curious to see. Virginia had some very dedicated folks last year, so hopefully they show up, show out, and they've got some new ones, and Virginia continues to grow like the rest of the states. I'm excited to see them.
Yeah, they've had some new people sign up for sure.
Good.
Yeah.
I like the growth they're having up there as well. And then 29 March in Louisiana is our last event of March, and that's wrapping up all the events in March. They're going out of Toledo Bend, and I feel like from 1 March to probably the beginning of June, Toledo Bend probably has probably February to March. Toledo Bend has, yeah. Okay. So they're starting to spawn. So yeah, there's always a potential for a mega sack on Toledo Bend. So I'm excited to see the
spawning,
results.
Zach. You need to tell everybody.
Yeah. Make sure you drop waypoints, please. Put them on here. I don't think it's going to matter. Our lake's so big, you could probably drop 100 waypoints and still go find fish. But, or just do what they did last year in the Elite Series. Just drive out in the middle of the lake, put the trolling motor down, and live scope them up. But, oh, okay. Shane's already, look at him. Shane's already out there getting it, putting in the work. 42 degrees on the main lake, 52 in the creeks. He's ready for them to 52. I mean, they should be eating crankbaits. I don't know Virginia at all, but if they're in the creeks at 52 degrees, that should be starting to get fun. Maybe. I don't know Virginia at all fishing though, so yeah, I can't talk on it too much to be honest. But never even held a fishing rod in the state of Virginia. So, but they've talked that place up pretty good, so I'm excited for that. That's all the events we got coming up in March. So if you're down here in one of those 4 states, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia, or Louisiana, make sure y'all are getting signed up, getting ready to go, getting out there practicing and getting ready to experience the brotherhood. I know I really like that lake is so confusing with that. It fluctuates so much being a power plant lake. Like I've seen it drop 5 feet out from under us in the middle of through a tournament day. It's kind of crazy. That lake's really hard. And honestly, I've tried to go out there bed fishing and stuff, but it's weird because some days like they will consistently move that lake 5 feet a day for multiple days in a row, to where it'll come up and then go down, come up and go down. And
Does that affect
constantly
that lake a lot? Like, is it deep enough where that doesn't really play a factor? Or is it?
I mean, it's weird. Like on that lake, without giving up too much of how I fish it, but on that lake, like I always target, near deep water.
Yeah.
It's a really small lake. Like it's not very big. Like, you can run end to end in 10 minutes. It's tiny, but it fishes big, if that makes sense. There's a lot of points, a lot of little pockets and coves and stuff. There's a lot to fish out there, but it's I haven't really noticed it making a difference, other than like if you go see them on the bed, if you get there, like sometimes the lake will be low when you start, and then it'll rise 5 feet over the day. And there's definitely been times where I've seen fish on the bed one day. Last year, I had some fish on a bed, and the next day when I came back, by the time I got to them, the water was so high you couldn't even see that area anymore.
Oh, it's like a big bowl.
Yeah, it's a big bowl. I don't have anything set up to screen share it or anything, or I would, but yeah, it's not much it's not a big lake, but nuclear power plant, they built that lake. From what I understand, Duke Energy built that lake for fishing.
Yeah.
Like they specifically tailored the way the points are and all of that for fishing. But yeah, speaking of, Monticello, we've got, my fishing partner and For His Glory Outdoors owner, director, however he wants to put it on, but the face and name of For His Glory Outdoors, Mr. Bobby Edwards. We're going to bring him in real quick. Hello, Bobby.
Hey, what's up, guys?
You're excited for Monticello.
I am. I'm pretty excited. I mean, I get pretty excited about every tournament. And,
right.
I'm all in as far as the pre-fishing's going and the communication between us and coming up with a game plan and trying to get some time on the water before the actual event and that kind of stuff. I think, towards the tail end of last season is when you and I started to really click
Right.
as far as being on a team, on a boat together, and learning each other's, just the way we operate on a boat and being able to read each other's minds. So going into this season, I was excited from the rip. So before each tournament, I'm pretty stoked to get out there. The tournament fishing it's where it's at. I first moved here in 2017 and reached out on a Lake Murray Facebook page about being a new guy in the area and wanting to link up with somebody to fish with. And actually, Philip Stutz was one of the first guys to reach out to me or comment on that post. And so he pulled me under his wing, so to speak, and got me wrapped up in the tournament fishing. And he's basically the reason why I bought my first boat and all of that when I first moved here. So yeah, to say I'm excited for it this weekend is an understatement. I love all the guys coming together and getting to see everybody at every event. So
I was talking with Zach, our Louisiana director, and he's an infantryman too.
Oh, here we go.
He wants to know, and I want to know too, is there a lot of crap talking that goes on the boat between infantry and Air Force?
Honestly, I'll let you answer.
I mean, honestly, there is some, but I think there's more. If there's crap talking going on, it's more about how one of us sets the hook on a fish, or how we miss a fish, or how we doubted one another, or doubted the game plan that the other one pitched, and then it ended up being what it needed to be. So there's more crap talking individually against each other than there is more so about Air Force and infantry. So.
I was hoping for some juicy comments or something, but
yeah, I mean, It's a lot of like when you're idling back into a creek in Santee and your partner is just like, here, let me bomb this wacky rig as hard as I can 20 feet into the trees. And then gets mad that it happened. And that's a specific instance. No, we fish good together. We don't even really, I mean, sometimes we talk about the military a lot, but I mean, a lot of it is talking about, yeah. No, like we kind of I kind of talked about it last week. Starting it and starting our day out and not really like kind of getting spun out and then realizing like to trust each other. It's kind of a lot of what we've, trying to get to. And I think we got
learning curve. When you gotta when you fish with someone that you haven't fished tournaments with before, it's a big learning curve to learn like each other's tendencies and stuff.
Right. And honestly, like lately, I mean, we've both been so busy. We haven't got to spend a lot of time out on the water. I've had some issues with my boat and he was trying to sell the boat there for a while and between work and family stuff going on. It's been tough to get out on the water together. So the time we do have is game time and is kind of what it seems like, unfortunately. But like even this week, we were going to try to get out on the water, and then now I've got something I've got to go to Kentucky for potentially. So,
I think it just boils down to, I mean, everyone that's involved with the AFFL, there's a reason why they're a part of the AFFL. It is directly correlated to the fact that we all served in some capacity.
Right.
And part of us wanting to serve, whether we are willing to admit it or not, is because of brotherhood, is because of being closely connected with other people. And that, for me, there's a difference between the solo guy that's fishing in the league by himself in his own boat versus the team atmosphere. That's the reason why correct me if I'm wrong, Nick, that's the reason why we have it set up the way we do. It's all about connecting that team and finding out, okay, who do I fish well with? Who do I get along with? And growing, you know what I mean? Regardless of where we're at in our walk in life, we could all use somebody to grow close with. So that's what it is for me. And specifically for our league here in South Carolina, like I want to see everybody executing in a team fashion, 2 guys on the boat, and it being the same 2 guys, every tournament for the entire event, for the entire series, year in and year out, and
right.
I'm guilty of always looking into the future and missing the present sometimes. And so I've said this to Austin and Nick. I've texted it to you numerous times. I'm excited. Not that I'm not excited right now, but I'm excited for, I just turned 40. You know what I mean? What are we going to be doing in the next 5 years? What are we going to be doing in the next 10 years? You know what I mean? 20 years, hey, we've been fishing in this league. The guys that, we're all the ones that started this together. And hopefully we're all the ones, people are going to come and people are going to go. People are still active duty and people, that kind of stuff. But for the most part, everyone that's on watching tonight, everyone that's in North Carolina and all the different states and leagues, like, what about the 5-year, 10-year, 20-year mark when we're that far along? And, look at Carl Horn, for example. You know what I mean? Like him and his partner that have been fishing together forever, that kind of stuff, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Building that kind of relationship. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. And exactly like we had the comment up on the screen. I'll put it back up here real quick. If I can find my mouse, I lost my mouse again. The camaraderie is innate in us. Yeah. And exactly like you said here on the back end of this, it makes it easy for us to chat and get right into it. Like I'll speak on the national championship, for instance. Like a lot of you guys knew me because you watched the podcast, stuff like that. But like I didn't really know any of you. And then like hanging out in the house, just chatting, doing all that. Like I came over to the or the New Hampshire house a couple times and just sat out there, like getting to know all of those guys. Shane Baker, I can't even name all your names. Like I'm drawing a blank right now for some reason, but Johnny, Mike Sheehan, Bob, all of you. Speaking of which, Bob, I heard you got to meet Hank Cherry. Jacqueline sent me a picture of you. That y'all ran into each other. Sorry to dive off topic there, squirrel brain. But like meeting all you guys, like sitting around, hanging out, all the Louisiana guys and making the gumbo and we talked over the podcast and over the chat and everything. It was like I knew all those guys for years, is how it felt, like just sitting around chatting. And it's awesome.
Like, all we saw was just like pictures and names of all the results, right? So then
right,
like see
Putting,
people face to face.
Yeah, it was cool. But the ease of, I'm trying to think of how to say that, but like just how it just felt natural to know these guys, like I've known them forever. Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry to dive back on the Hank Cherry thing. I'm glad you got to meet them, Bob. They are amazing people, and I'm glad to see that Hank had a pretty good tournament this weekend. I'm pretty happy with that, seeing him up there in the top. I think he was 17th. I have the results up here somewhere.
Let's see.
18th. 18th. Oh no, hold on. Yeah, 18th.
Yeah, he finished out 18th, and he's actually on his way here to South Carolina. He's hopping in the NPFL this year.
Oh, is he really?
He's hopping in that Santee Cooper tournament next weekend.
Oh, no kidding. We need to go link up with him Saturday or Sunday or Friday or whatever day that is. We need to go link up, see what he's up to.
That would be legit.
Man. To be fishing 2 like pro series, that's a lot.
Like coming out of or elbow surgery this year, it's a lot, for sure. He's a stud though. Hank's a stud. I mean, absolutely.
He's a stud, and he's one of the genuine guys.
Right.
A lot of people, like to. I just want to take a moment and thank the troops and everything that they do for our country. There's a lot of people that do that, and I'm not trying to take away from anybody, but we also know there's a lot of people that do it for the wrong reasons, and that's truly not what's in their heart. Mm-hmm. Hank's one of those guys. When he I think he didn't fish today because it was only the top 10 obviously, but yesterday the weigh-in yesterday, he made it a point to bring it up and thank all of us for our service and all the first responders and everything. And it's because of us that they get to do their dream.
Right.
So he truly means it. He's one of the genuine ones. He's a hell of a guy, and he's a hell of a fisherman.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can tell it too when he's saying it. It's just,
and he literally never misses it.
Yeah.
Ever. The only time I've seen Hank not say that ever at a weigh-in, and I watch a lot of them, was at Murray this past year at Murray on that Sunday was Mother's Day. And instead of thanking the troops, he said a big thank you to all the moms, which is fine, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, that's the only time. Every other time he has said it.
Every time he's on the stage at the Classic.
Yeah. Every time.
So I'm really, to try to stay on point here as far as the professionals and the Elite Series and everything. I got a question for you guys. What's your thoughts on the first event? What was at the St. Johns River, the whole Matt Herring issue, and then again back-to-back events for the first time ever this weekend on Okeechobee, Scott Martin's homeland pond, and him being disqualified, and what we know, what's put out there, all the podcasts on YouTube, all the different things, what you've heard and what you've watched. What's your thoughts on these 2 back-to-back disqualifications?
I'll let y'all tackle the Matt Herring one. I wasn't tracking that until you brought it up earlier. I'm tracking the Scott Martin for Okeechobee, and I have a lot to say on that one. But
I
I'll
know.
let y'all
I knew
tackle the
Matt
Matt
Herring got
Herring.
disqualified. I didn't know. Like, I knew it was for the information rule, but I didn't know all the circumstances behind it. I mean, at the end of the day, I look at it like rules are rules. You know, it is. It sucks, right? Especially, I mean,
Right.
it sucks anyways. But Scott Martin, that's his home lake.
Yep.
You know, and I just watching his stuff, like Scott Martin. You know, he was in his shop supposedly and just kind of casually talking and just said, "How's the water look?" You know, and like, it's a rule, so I mean, you can't argue it, but yeah.
I think it goes to say a lot about Scott Martin's character, though, for just a quick second, right? So, like, Scott Martin last year in the Open literally dominated the Open by, what was it, 25, 30 pounds or something? I mean, it's something ridiculous. I don't remember the weight. The man grew up on Okeechobee. He knows Okeechobee, and that's one of those lakes that has secrets still, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, not all lakes have a home field advantage, but lakes like Santee Cooper, Okeechobee, like some of those swamp lakes that just have weird nuances to them. They don't have the best maps. It's not a structure fishery to where you can go out there and structure fish it. You know what I mean? Like St. Lawrence has the same thing, like up there, like the northern dudes just know those boulders to pull up on, right? Like over the years of fishing it, they have those boulders that they've marked for years and years and years that they just know, like out in the middle of 25 foot of water, there's this random boulder that holds giant smallmouth. You know what I mean? Like same thing with Okeechobee. Like there's this little stump in this grass field that you'd have to spend your whole life out there like they did. So in my thought process, Scott Martin doesn't need information on Lake Okeechobee. And realistically, whatever information that was disclosed, probably what he wouldn't have won off of anyways. And for him to make that, like his character is to say, "Hey, I effed up, disqualify me." I think speaks very highly of his character there, in my opinion.
I agree with you
personally.
So he won that Open last year with the all-time heaviest 3-day bag,
right,
on Okeechobee. 90
and it was
pounds,
over 100. Yeah,
90 pounds, 6 ounces.
Yeah. Right.
I think as far as the Elite Series is concerned, I think they go back and revisit the rules and get into the fine print of the rules and edit it a little bit. I think that's what's best for the league, and here's why. Nick, you're 100%. A rule is a rule, right? Especially in the sport of bass fishing, right? The majority of the I don't want to say that either. I was going to say the majority of the good bass fishermen, or majority of good bass fishermen, live in the gray area, right? But that, I don't know if that necessarily holds any weight. So what I will say is that blatantly trying to get information and intel, whether it's where they're at, what they're doing, water temperature, water clarity, waypoints, blatantly breaking the rule, blatantly trying to get an advantage over everyone else that you're up against by breaking the rules is one thing. And I can't sit at the boat ramp taking my boat off or loading my boat up and prepping the boat to leave or whatever. As a pro, everyone's going to, not every, but you're going to have guys come up and they're local guys. I remember when we're bass fishermen. We love to talk, the dock talk.
Oh yeah.
Or sitting in there's Austin knows this. I try to get them to come over to the house and stay the night before every tournament that's on this side of the state. Because I love sitting in the garage. I love putting new line on all the rods, tying on baits, talking about what we're going to do, our strategy, all that stuff. I love that part about the sport.
Right.
And so if I'm a pro and I'm at my house and I've got my boys over, or if I'm at the boat ramp and I've got guys coming up to me, yes, like us as us as the viewer and the fans should know, hey, there's, especially now more than ever, like there's things that you can say and there's things that you ought not to say on one side of the coin. But on the other side of the coin, like if he shouldn't, maybe he shouldn't have asked a question about the water clarity. Maybe he shouldn't have. But again, I don't think the shop talk or him asking that question directly equates to a blank 0-0 disqualification for the entire 4-day tournament. Because you think about it, how difficult is it going to be for him now to make the Classic next year?
Yeah.
Zero
You know
chance.
what I mean? Like he's going to have to really knock it out of the park every event.
Yeah.
And as far as what I understand about the first one on the St. John's with Matt Herron, it was a similar thing. You know, there was a shop talk going on, and I think it might have been even his brother. Somebody correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, if you know more about the situation, but somebody made the comment or something to the effect of, yeah, they're not up north, or I hope they're not going up north or something. And Matt Herron, fishing 80 miles away in the opposite direction, had no plans, wasn't even going up there, didn't even go up there. Like, so I guess to wrap this up, I'm simply stating that I think there needs to be a relook at the fine print and or the consequences. You know, there are habitual or there has been up until this point until they got really strict. There's been habitual rule breakers. You know, there's guys out there blatantly doing it the wrong way and on purpose and doing it over and over and over again. And there's something for those guys, but for the guy gets wrapped up in the conversation and didn't stop the conversation soon enough, you're going to disqualify him for the whole tournament. You know, I mean, that's kind of harsh. You know what I mean? That'd be like, I don't know. I was always when I was the first sergeant and the senior leader and all that kind of stuff, and even team leader and squad leader, like throughout my whole career, like for whether you like it or not, you have to take everything on a case by case basis. You know what I mean? And
rolling a stop sign doesn't equate to the death penalty. Right.
So Johnny, it was his brother, and they were talking about how well they caught him a couple of years ago up north over beers. Yeah, right. I mean, are they? Is he buying waypoints? Is he paying for a guide?
Right.
A month before his club tournament to go learn how to catch them so that he can win in his club tournament. You know what I mean? Like, come on, there's a difference. And whether you agree with me or not, I always took the side and the approach of I'm going to take into consideration what kind of soldier this guy is, because we all step on our cranks. We all make mistakes. You know what I mean? So for the kid that comes in and day out and gives the unit and gives the uniform and gives the Army and gives me or his leader 110% every day, when he steps on his crank, I'm taking that into consideration. When he's a piece of shit and a dirtbag and he steps on his crank, guess what? I'm also taking that into consideration. You know what I mean? So I think we have to revisit the rules and the fine print and change it up a little bit, because that's
what
just my
happened
opinion.
with Scott Martin. Did he turn himself in, or did
he
did? Yeah,
he did.
That's what I thought,
and does he turn himself in if a couple weeks prior Matt Herron doesn't get busted and gets disqualified?
Yeah,
that's fair. That's a valid point. But either way, I think what you're getting to, and a lot of it is intent. And just like either way, taking it on a case by case basis. Like I kind of slipped it out there for a second. Like rolling a stop sign or doing 10 over the speed limit doesn't equate to the death penalty, right? Like you're not going to go to jail. If I'm a police officer, I'm not going to pull you over for blowing through a stop sign and take you to jail, right? progressive discipline. Now, if that's your 5th time rolling a stop sign and you're on a suspended license and all these things, right, then you're going to go to jail. But your first time, am I going to take you to jail, right? Like, did you intend to roll that stop sign or a stoplight even? Like, let's call this more like a stoplight situation. The light was yellow. They tried to run the red light and then they got busted. They hit the red, right? They were just in a conversation, words slipped out, and things happened. Johnny's just gonna snipe you from across the Boston red light. Ah.
He must be in the Air Force.
No,
he's a Boston PD and
even better.
He's SWAT team. Yeah, I'm sure he won't mind me saying it. Yeah.
Nice.
Sorry,
nice.
Johnny.
And
we
then,
didn't mean to
and
put
then,
your business out there. My bad.
And then on his side of the token, that same yellow light, red light situation, what's my attitude as the guy that technically broke the rule when Johnny walks up to my window?
Are you taking accountability? Are you holding yourself accountable? Hey, I messed up. This is what I did.
Am I a complete jackleg that's disrespecting this guy that could have just came from pulling a kid out of a car, or seeing his partner get, you never know. So
right.
That's why I say case by case, you got to take all things into consideration.
Exactly. Exactly. And I think there's a couple of comments on here that are talking about like here's why I'm really on the case by case situation, right? So
I can't see the comments. Is there a way for me to see the comments?
Oh no, I thought you could, but as we put them up here, you can. I reckon you can see that, right, Bobby?
Yep, I can see it when it pops up. Yeah.
So I think this is pretty vital here. Exactly like you said, the poster rookies, and I'm not gonna name I'm not gonna name names, but I don't know if we posted this one or not. You can see that one.
What did it say?
If he's coming up to your window, you effed up big time. For sure. But I'm not gonna name names of those poster rookies.
I'm already going to jail.
But we know what poster rookie we're talking about here. Right? If you're in depth, right? There's a young man. Anyways, broke some rules, did some things, acted some ways.
Disrespected some high-ranking lieutenant colonels in the Bassmaster Elite series.
I might put old G-Man up there a little higher. He might be a brig general.
He's a sergeant major. I should have demoted him like that.
There you go. You're right.
Bring him back over to the enlisted side.
Yeah, he's a sergeant major for sure. Old school. Yeah. You disrespect people like that the way that this certain rookie did, and the way he blew his doors off in a no-wake zone and all that. And then he got what was the punishment for that? It was like a 3-hour delay or half a day delay, or I don't remember what it exactly was, but it was a delay. He still fished the rest of the tournament. He wasn't DQ'd for the full thing. It's like, I agree with you, Bobby. They really need to revisit the rules. And that's something I like about how we have our rules structured is we kind of have this list of, what we can, and it's up to tournament directors' discretion to apply the rules. And that's how it should be. Right.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So like if I have an issue, with something someone did, I'm going to probably, like, Bobby, you're there on the scene. I'll probably lean on you a little bit, right? Hey, what are your thoughts on this as well? I'll probably call Nick, maybe a couple of other directors, just get thoughts, opinions. Like we had a situation at the National, we all came together, we talked it out, and there were some differing opinions there, but we came to a conclusion as a team and we moved forward with what we had to do, unfortunately. And that's what it all is. I mean, at the end of the day, we're a team, but it's case by case, right? Like a lot of it goes into your reaction to how you react when you're engaged. Like when we engage you, I'm like, hey, this is what happened. I think that's a big consideration, big point of contention there.
Yeah,
I think Johnny's right though. There's a flip side to every coin, and Bass is definitely dropping the hammer because of last year and the year before. And so they are setting the tone and setting a precedence for moving forward, which
Right.
is not necessarily a bad thing.
Right. I think last year maybe they were a little too lenient. They see that, they recognize it. I'm sure there's, you know how it is too. I mean, there's angler meetings, there's, you know, one-on-one conversations. Like, I'm sure G-Man did not have some choice words for the tournament director after that situation, right? Or excuse me, I'm sure G-Man had some choice words for that situation. And some of the other veterans that witnessed and were around there that have been around for a while probably had, you know, some similar choice words based on that one singular situation. And there was a lot of situations last year. There was a lot of weird gray areas being broken, and there was a lot of weird stuff. So, yeah, you're probably right. It's probably they're just saying, hey, listen, this is how it's going to be. Get your stuff together. There's a standard to withhold. Follow it or get out of the way.
Yeah.
We're gonna hit you with it.
Not to mention, like, look how much the sport has grown, right? Look how many now on, like, not just the elites, but even like club level tournaments. Like, people, you know, we post stuff on Facebook. Like, people see that stuff, you know. But with how many people watch the Elite Series now, they kind of have to crack down on everything that they're doing. Like, it is what it is, man. It's like I said, rules are rules. It's
yeah.
Austin,
I mean, yeah.
Have you taken a look at the weather for this week leading up to Saturday on Monticello?
It's changed a bunch, but yeah, it was jumping around. I think Saturday was supposed to be nice. We were supposed to get some rain.
Yeah, so
Saturday's supposed to be 74 now. I like that.
Tonight's the coldest night of the week.
Yep, 29.
With a high of
Dang, I didn't
62
realize that.
tomorrow, a low just below 40 tomorrow night. Moving into Tuesday with a high of 72 and a low of 60 Tuesday night. Wednesday, looking like a bunch of rain coming in on Wednesday with a high of 73. And then 61 and 67 Friday with a low of 49 moving into Saturday morning. And it's supposed to be 70 degrees that day.
Right. I mean, I think it looks like a good trend for sure. And Monticello always has that warmer water due to it being a power plant lake. So I don't know. It could get crazy. Who knows? And then the following week, we're going to be in the 80s again.
dude, I'll do the 80s for like 4 months.
Yeah. I mean, well, not fully in the 80s. We're going to be 77, 79, 79, 77, 75. It's going to be a beautiful week next week.
I will say
excited.
this. After Saturday, after Monticello, every day that I'm off, which, as you know, is not really any day right now.
Right.
But in the event that I can break away, I am going to be spending as much time as I can down on Santee Cooper.
In the swamp.
Just
swamping.
So do you guys remember being a teenager or being a young boy and going to the local state park? I remember tying on a spinning rod, it was called the Man's Baby One, Man's Minus One, little crankbait, go like 2 inches under, 3 inches under the surface of the water.
Mm-hmm.
I remember tying one of those on and going around in a john boat on this state park back home in Maryland and catching like literally 30, 40, 50 bass a day and having a blast. Nothing crazy, you know what I mean? Bunch of 1-pounders, 2-pounders, 3-pounders, maybe 1 5-pounder for the whole day, but just having one of those epic days on the water.
Yeah.
Now we're all grown up. We've got 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, $100,000 boats, live scope, power poles, 250s.
And you get skunked.
This rod, this line, all these baits, a whole boat, all this stuff. And I can't go out there and crack 20 pounds. And it's bugging the crap out of me.
That is one thing I said before I miss about having my smaller aluminum boat, because now with my boat, I can literally bring everything. And I sit there with that hatch open, and I'm like, oh man, 2 casts with this. I didn't catch anything. Let's put this. It makes me lose my mind.
And the end of the day, you have 20 rods on the front deck,
Oh, it's
just
a nightmare.
beating your head on the deck.
I drive Austin crazy because I probably spend more time cutting and retying baits than actually like casting and having a bait in the water.
You have to buy more rods. That's all that
No
means.
comment.
That's all it means.
My thoughts exactly.
Yeah.
I'm excited for Monticello. I think I think it's going to take 18 pounds.
I agree.
I want to see
Probably
you
somewhere
guys
in that
pull
realm.
in what Brandon Polinick pulled in.
A 34-pound sack.
30 pounds, okay?
I ain't saying
Bro,
it's impossible.
If I catch a 34-pound sack, those bad boys are not going back in the pond because I'm going to have them all stuffed, all 5 of them on a freaking piece of wood in the office.
Yep.
Isn't that crazy?
Go take out a personal loan for a taxidermy bill. I'm about it.
Yeah.
He had what, a 9 and 2 7s or something that day?
He had 2 9s yesterday.
2 9s. It's insane.
Stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. He
34-10 was his day
to
one,
see him
day 2 weight.
Okeechobee, beginning of March with a crankbait, just putting on
Turn
a
'em
clinic
Yeah.
Wrecking them.
on Okeechobee.
That's
Yeah.
You know,
insane.
and so that's what
In
bugs
current.
me. I want to know what
Right.
Scott Martin was going to do. Did Scott Martin know to go into a canal and throw a crankbait for 4 days straight,
In that
or
little
was he going to
channel.
go out on the main lake and
Do what he
You
did
know?
last year in the open, just throw a frog, a chatterbait, and a zoom worm all day, you know?
Yeah.
Or
So,
whatever.
yeah,
I don't know what worm he was throwing, but a worm.
this time of year, turkey season's right around the corner, but we're talking bass fishing, so I'll try to stay on track. I want to go down to Sandy Cooper is popping off this year.
Is it?
Oh yeah. It's the last
It's
The
taken
last
over
2 weeks-
25 pounds to win just about
the
anything.
last 2 weeks have been insane down there. The last 2
Mhm.
weekends, all the tournaments that are going on, it's been pretty epic down there.
That because the last
Mhm.
couple of years it seems like it's been slowing down a little bit from what I've been hearing.
Last year was horrible.
Horrible.
Last year was awful. I mean, there's no good way to go about it. It sucked. All the weights
Yesterday's
were down.
Fishers of Men, I think first it took 28 pounds.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
And what was that? 3 weekends ago, they had almost 40 pounds.
37-pound sack.
Yeah, 37.
Oh, that was that one you sent me. That's right. That's crazy. 37 pounds.
Yeah, and last weekend was the BFL with a 13-pounder, and that was the 37-pound sack, right? Was in the BFL? No, what was the BFL? BFL was 35 pounds.
Yeah, the 37 was a cat, I believe.
Yeah, the weekend before that. So weekend
Yeah,
before the
3 weekends
BFL,
ago.
weekend before you had a 37-pound bag. Then you had a BFL with a 35-pound bag and a 13-pounder, one big fish. And then this weekend, you have another 28-pound bag win.
Man.
Not to mention the weeks before that, it was still in the upper 20s in a couple of tournaments.
And that's all pre-spawn, right?
Oh, yeah, they're not on the beds yet, which it might slim up a little bit, maybe, depending. But, yeah. Yeah, 35. Yeah, Lonnie's got it for the BFL, 35.6 and a 13.6. I'll give that due.
We need to get Lonnie to take us. That's who I need. I need to get Lonnie to take me out on the old coop. Lonnie will crack him, dude.
Yeah, he will. He showed me a lot of things out there. That's for sure.
That is homeland.
That's where he probably fishes. I don't know. Between Murray and Santee, he goes back and forth a lot. But
Yeah.
definitely between Murray, Santee, and Wateree, we kind of all hit all of them. Like in where we're at in South Carolina, you hit all three of those pretty frequently. But Santee, I mean, we can be at PAX from, I think Lonnie's house is only like 20 minutes to the northern end. For me, it's like 30. So,
Yeah.
In the summertime for sure.
I can't even imagine, dude. 37 pounds.
Oh yeah, I have no idea.
37 pounds.
Yeah, I'd probably have a heart attack if I was weighing fish that big.
It's like it's 7.4 pound average.
Average, right?
That's insane.
There's an article. I'll have to pull it up. There's an article of the dude that won the Open, and he was talking about it, like how he just pull up, caught an 8-pounder, pull up, caught another 8-pounder, lost one about the same size, and pull up, catch a 7-pounder, pull up, catch a 6-pounder. Like every spot he pulled up to, he just caught a giant. He recalled the whole event. I'll have to find it and send it out. But it's pretty crazy. But,
Phil, I'm gonna have you talk to my wife here and convince her. Okay.
I've been telling him for a long time. He's talking about Greenville area. I think he should buy a house on Santee.
Yeah.
That's what you should do, Nick.
Yeah, Santee.
Yeah.
I haven't been with that place, man.
Yeah, I know. I think you would really like Murray, or Hartwell. You would like
Hartwell has been my favorite so far down south, just because I can find stuff that I can relate to up here.
Right.
It's clear water, you know.
You would like Murray, I think.
Yeah.
For sure, because especially now that Murray's got the grass in it too.
Yeah.
I think you could relate to Murray pretty good, and hopefully
nice
they let the grass stay.
Yeah.
Do what?
Hartwell had those nice rocky points. You know, that's the stuff on the main lake. That's where I like to fish. But
right.
Yeah, sure. That's been my favorite. It's a nice area too. I like it.
Right. Yeah, I'm with Lonnie here. April's gonna be fun. I'm gonna put a frog in my hand and let Bobby do whatever else he wants to do. And I'm just gonna keep a frog in my hand all day.
I'm trying this new technique where I take a minnow on a spinning rod. Well, first, let me back up. You take a treble hook on a spinning rod. Hear me out. You grab 3 minnows and you hook 3 minnows on each individual hook on the treble hook, and you get that joker up underneath the lily pads and you just bounce that minnow, and when it's popping the bottom side of that lily pad,
just like a real shad spawn,
8-pounders every time.
Yep,
on a spinning set,
every time.
On a spinning rod. Yep. 10-pound fluorocarbon.
Yep.
Beefing up the line a little bit.
In that muddy water, the heavier the line, the denser the shadow, right? Because like the thicker the mud line, right? So like when it's real clear outside, you know, they can't see the fluorocarbon because it just, the sun shines right through. But when you have that muddy water, it creates like a, you know, like a big, like dense, thick rope that they can see. So you got
when the water's Nick, when the water's real dirty, you take one of those catfish bells and you put it on the end of your rod, and you just sit there, and that little bit of rattle. See, when the rattle's in the water, it's too much. But when it's vibrating through that line down into that, every time.
I'll never listen to anything you guys say in the morning.
Well, hold on. And here's the best trick. All right, I need everybody to tune in on this one. Best trick. A lot of people that fish with me enough know that I like to throw a jig. That's not BS. That's real. When you get up around some of these lakes, you have metal poles for dock ends. The best dinner bell you can do is take one of those jigs, and if there's a pontoon or a metal pole dock, you just bang that joker as hard as you can off of it. That boom, they come every time. Next cat, like it's bang, reel it back in, put it right back next to it. 8-pounder, boom. 37-pound bags. That's how you do it.
The alternative to that we've figured out is that if there isn't a metal pole around that dock, but that dock has a pontoon boat, or like a $200,000 jet ski boat,
perfect. Smack
that 1/2 ounce off the side of that boat, boy, and I'm telling you, 5-pounder every time.
Yeah, and you just get a good friend. You get a good friend that's like a fiberglass guy, right? And just keep a stack of his cards in your deck, you know, just a welder, a metal fabrication guy.
After you crack their hull.
Just staple it right to the seat, and just help your boys out. Perfect. I don't know how we bloviated that hard, but that got a little ridiculous. But man, don't do that. Yeah. Don't do that. We're joking, folks, just for liability reasons. Don't go smoking people's pontoons. It makes me cringe every time. I can't say I haven't done it. It makes me like, It's always, I know every one of you listening here has smoked a pontoon on a dock, and the instant reaction is there somebody outside?
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Instant reaction is like, you look up, you scan their property, make sure somebody ain't sitting out on their back deck. And if they are, it's reel it up, pull the trolling motor up, and get the hell out of there as soon as you can.
I think last year I took Gage out, and we were cranking, and I think I forget what crankbait I had on, but it was not a cheap one. And I slung that joker, and it snapped off the end of my line and flew like 100 yards, and landed on this man's roof. And we listened to it and watched it like fumble down the roof and like hit his gutter and like fall out of the gutter. And we didn't even realize it. He was on the back porch. He was sitting in a chair in the back porch, and I think it was Gage. I'm almost positive it was Gage. And that guy got so upset that I just threw a crankbait 100 yards on his roof. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Absolutely hilarious.
Time to get gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The boat's wrapped and everything.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I took another guy who I won't mention, but his initials is JJ. I took him fishing, and he put a 1/2 ounce jig in a boat cover. Like it was like a $200,000 jet ski boat. Not a jet ski. What do they call those boats?
The like the wake boats.
Wake boat. Thank you.
Yeah.
Those are big money.
Super expensive wake boat, and with a really, really nice cover, like a really nice custom cover on this boat. And he stuck that 1/2 ounce jig. It was a G-Man balling out jig. I remember this very, very specific. And he stuck that jig in that man's boat cover. And needless to say, we did not get the jig back. And whenever that guy found out about it, he was not happy.
Pissed.
That 1/2 ounce jig on that 20-pound or that 20-pound fluorocarbon that he had did a mess on that man's boat cover.
That's what insurance is for.
I guess.
Oh man.
That'll be you tell them.
Yeah, that's how you make yourself feel better at night. That's how you sleep
before you take off. Say that's what insurance.
We
is
started
for.
arguing with each other. I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "Shut up!" Like I come off the trolling motor. I think I was retying or something. We were in my boat. He took over the trolling motor. Next thing I heard, whack, and I look up, and he just with this 1/2 ounce jig in this man's boat cover. I'm like, "Bro, what are you doing?" He's like, "Shut up! I got stuck." I'm like, "Again?" And anyway, we get to arguing and getting loud on the water, and I'm like, man, I started thinking about the guy on the porch with the crankbait. I'm like, I hope that nobody is watching this go on right now.
On that note, before we criminalize somebody, we're at the hour mark, so we're gonna go ahead and wrap this up here. But congratulations to our winners from this weekend in Georgia, and then big shout out to Brandon Polnick, his 7th Bassmaster win and 6th Elite Series win. 2 AOIs, and he just needs a classic now, and he's ready to retire at 32 years old or whatever he is. He's still young as can be. Absolute legend for sure. I mean, I think he's trying to run down KVD for sure. He's still got a long ways to go, but I think he's trying to run him down.
He's got a lot of time left.
He sure does. He's still young as can be. So I like seeing the good guys win. I've always liked Brandon Polnick, and outstanding dude. I got to meet him when he won here on Santee. Just briefly, nothing crazy, but just you can tell the genuineness that he carries is pretty solid. But yeah, that's really about all we have. So if you have not jumped in the giveaway, let me see how many we got here. We have 18 entries in there. So if you're new here, you haven't watched before, and you haven't jumped in the giveaway, make sure you like, share, and comment hashtag the SITREP for a chance to win on a t-shirt. And we've got 2 bottles of barbecue sauce for you. And I'm excited to I'm about to bust open another bottle of that mustard-based barbecue sauce for a recipe, I think, tomorrow night. I'm excited for it. I love that stuff. But jump in that real quick, and I'm gonna go over our thing. Yes, my dad asked for those. I don't know if we talked about it earlier in the show. Kentucky did postpone Saturday's tournament. He has not rescheduled it yet. They're just gonna move forward with their next event in April, since Green River was way out of hand with the water levels and everything going on. But yeah. So we are going to go over the upcoming events real quick. Y'all make sure y'all are getting in this giveaway. So coming up again, just real quick, 8 March next weekend on Monticello here in South Carolina. Well, I don't know Safe Light offhand, but I'll have that posted on our page later this week. Do a little evaluation, see what it's looking like closer to the event. And then next weekend, 15 March, North Carolina is going to be on Baden Lake. Should be a good event. And then 22 March in Virginia, you got Lake Chesson. And 29 March, Louisiana is going to be kicking it off in Toledo Bend. So a lot of good events this month. Make sure y'all are getting out to them. And that's really all I got. You got anything else, Nick, before we do the giveaway? Bobby, you got anything? You want to hang out for a minute while we do the devotional, or are you going to jump off?
I'm gonna pop smoke. Just got off a 12-hour shift, so I'm gonna go spend a little bit of time with the missus.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see you later, man. We'll go ahead and do the giveaway once you jump off. But hey, thanks for coming on kind of last minute, just shooting the crap with us and talking fishing, and it was fun.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys having me on.
Anytime.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and if I just want to say, if you watch this or you're watching now, and you're a business owner and you want to get involved in the league, we have sponsorship packages. So if you're interested, we can send you those, and just reach out to us, and we'll get the ball rolling.
Absolutely. And let's do this here. We got 20 entries tonight. Let's see what it's going to look like. Danny Melinder. We will get that. Make sure you hit us up. I know we had your address previously. You won a while back, so please just give us a heads up on your address and what t-shirt size you are, and we'll get the stuff mailed out to you for sure. Congratulations on that. And that's all we got tonight, guys. If you don't normally stay for the devotional, I would invite you to stay. I'm pretty excited about what I want to share tonight. And then that's really all we got. I hope y'all have a fantastic week. You're one of my South Carolina guys. We'll see y'all next Saturday, and pretty excited. I just want a 5-pound smallie so bad. It's not even funny.
I want you to.
I'll probably cry. I'll go live on the AFFL South Carolina page if I catch a 5-pound smallie, just for everybody to see. I might be in the middle of cardiac arrest, but it'll be okay. It's fine. I died doing what I love.
I told you something good to throw.
Yep, I'm tracking.
All right.
I'm tracking. I've already got it rigged up.
Perfect.
And I haven't rigged anything else up, but I've got one thing rigged, ready to go. And y'all can't know, it's a secret. If I get the blessing from Nick, if we catch him on it, if I get the blessing from Nick, I'll let y'all know next week.
You can tell anybody you want down there. I mean, it's no secret up here. That's for sure.
Oh, okay. Well, there's that. But I'm still keeping it under wraps down south unless I catch them on it. And then if I catch them on it really good, I'll either, depending on how good here now, if I go crack a 25-pound bag on this technique.
It's just something you wouldn't think to throw down south. That's why it's kind of like,
it's a fact. And it is effective. I have caught fish doing it.
It is.
It is very effective. But yeah. Cool. So that's all we got for those that aren't staying for the devotional that we do every week. See y'all later. Y'all have a good week, and we will see y'all. I don't know if we'll be doing one next weekend. I'm going to be pretty busy next weekend. Next weekend we will be. The following might be a little weird. The 15th, that weekend, 15th, 16th, I'll be busy.
We change blocks next weekend too.
Oh, do we? Oh, interesting. I didn't think we
Yeah.
were doing that anymore. I can't keep up. We are, we aren't, we are, we aren't. Really no. There you go.
Yeah. Oh,
We double clicked. Bada boom, bada bang. The 12-inch bubble gum slow. Heck yeah. But yeah, so y'all have a good week. We'll see y'all next Sunday. Be safe and have fun. But for those that are hanging out for the devotional, we'll go ahead and get dived in. Whoa, my Kentucky's hanging out a little bit. We'll go ahead and dive in here real quick. I gotta mark that page and go back to where I'm starting. So yeah, so this is something I've shared with people before. Not on here. But I kind of had it in a little differently. And then at church this morning, the pastor kind of shared something that I didn't even equate to this. So before church, I was already thinking about this, diving into, let me pull it up here. Hebrews 13:8. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Right. And before church this morning, that kind of came to me a little bit, and I was sitting there in the Bible a little bit before church, and I was sitting there thinking about it, like how many guys I've talked to from our backgrounds, right, military, first responders that have gone through some stuff or done some stuff, some bad things, right, and they don't necessarily think that they're worthy, right, of Jesus, and you know, that they're the things that they've done, whether that's in Iraq or Afghanistan or Vietnam, the folks that are, of that generation, a lot there. It will surprise you when you hear people say, like, because of their military service, they don't think that they deserve Jesus or whatever they did. And same for first responders, especially, in the law enforcement division where, they might have committed, arrested somebody unlawfully or something, or I'm not saying that happens a lot, but they might have done something that, later on they regret, and they use that as a point of contention to run away from Jesus. Right. I can't, I did some really bad things. I did whatever the case is. Right. But I wanted to hit this topic tonight. 13:8 is that Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Right. Because no matter what your past is, no matter what you've done in the past, if you're willing to accept him, he will always be your future forever. Right. Yesterday, if you're looking long time ago, he died for our sins. When he was on the cross, he said, "It's finished." That was yesterday. Today, he's willing to accept you for forever. That's how it is. All you got to do is ask him. Tell him, "Hey, I surrender. Hey, I'm yours." Seek him. Seek the kingdom, right? And the reason I say that, and what I'm going back to on that, is I'll put it up here so that you can follow along if you do that. In Luke 23, 39 through 43, is when Jesus is on the cross, right? And a lot of us know that he was hung next to two criminals, right? And I'll read it for us real quick. But one of the criminals beside him scoffed, "You're the Messiah, are you? Prove it by saving yourself and us too while you're at it." But the other criminal protested, "Don't you fear God even when you have been sentenced to die? We deserve to die for our crimes, but this man hasn't done anything wrong." Then he said, "Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom." And Jesus replied, "I assure you, today you will be with me in paradise." So regardless of what that criminal had done, and if you get into the theology and dive in deep, he was a thief. He did a lot of really bad things, right? And was before they were crucified, was mocking Jesus too, right? Regardless of the things that you've done, he's willing to forgive, no matter what it is. And that's why I go back to Hebrews. Like, he is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So even if you're not willing to accept that right now, just keep it in your brain forever. Like tomorrow, he's the same as today, as he was yesterday. A week from now, a month from now, 3 months from now, 6 months from now, 10 years from now, he is the same that he was 2,000 years ago on that cross when he finished for all of us. You just got to turn to him. The criminal says right there, we deserve to die for our crimes, but this man hasn't done anything wrong. But then he turns to Jesus and says, Jesus, remember me when you come into your kingdom. And Jesus replies to him, I assure you, today you will be with me in paradise. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. Turn to him today, yesterday, tomorrow, 3 months from now, every day, and you've got a spot. And there's probably hundreds of verses of him telling us throughout the Gospels of he's already making a place for us. By the time we get there, it's ready for us, right? You just got to turn to him, accept him, and have a relationship with him. That's it, regardless of your past. And that's why I wanted we are not the same today as we were yesterday. And we're not the same today as we will be forever. But Jesus is. He's the only constant. He's the only standard, right? In the military especially. And I'm sure I'm not a first responder. I don't know how first responders operate in depth, but I'm sure in the first responder world, you have standards and accountability just like we do in the military. There's one standard in life, and that's Jesus. And that standard remains true. Rules have changed throughout the generations. Our languages have changed. How we perceive each other has changed. How we act has changed. Everything has changed. The only thing that hasn't is Jesus. And he will never change. He loves you. He wants a relationship with you. And at the end of the day, that's all it is. So turn to him. Just like, and there's no, and another key point to that is it's never too late. But you're not promised tomorrow. Right? So you're not promised tomorrow. So even though it's never too late, get ahead of it before you're caught up behind it.
Tomorrow could be.
Right. You never know. You never know when that day is coming. Comes like a thief in the night. But that's all I got. One more time. We want to say a prayer for our brother Dave, please. Keep him and his family as he goes through another tough loss. Dave Hicks is our Virginia director. If you're not following, he's been really going through it lately. Their family has been slammed, and please keep him, his family, and their friends and everybody in your prayers as they continue to go through it and work their way through it and move out of it. But ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got tonight. Do you have anything on that topic, Nick?
I don't know. Yeah, just like you said, keep him in your prayers. You know, they just he's had a rough year.
Absolutely.
You could use all of our prayers and strength and everything. So we love you, Dave. If you need us, let us know.
Absolutely. You got anything to touch off before we close out?
I don't know. Yeah, we should be good.
Good deal. Well, see y'all next week. I don't know what our topic's going to be yet. We're kind of rolling on the fly lately. We've been so busy, but see y'all next week. You'll have a good show. Y'all be safe. Have a blessed week. And a little bit. All right.